So, chapter 5, diode rectifiers. Okay. Can someone tell me, is diode a controlled or a uncontrolled device? Uncontrolled, right? It's a uncontrolled semiconductor device. So, whatever we are going to deal with diodes, okay, if it's a half wave rectifier or a full wave rectifier, full bridge rectifier, it's going to be uncontrolled. It's going to do its task on its own. Okay, we don't need to supply gate signals to this. You're just going to put them in a circuit, apply voltage, it will do its magic by its own. And that's what we have seen in the last class. We started off with a very simple block diagram of a rectifier, okay, a simple circuit. We said, okay, we have a IC source. Now we are going to supply a AC source to a diode, only one diode, single diode, and the load is going to be a resistive load. What did we see? The voltage, okay, this is the voltage source Vs, okay, but at the load what happens to the current? It only flows in the positive cycle, okay. So we have current here at the positive cycle. So that was resistive load. Now today we are going to look at the same circuit with a RL load. How does it change? Okay, how does it change? So let's have a look. So we have our source, IC source, okay. Okay, I should turn off the lamp. No, it's better this way. Okay. So we have a AC source, Vs. Diode, now we have a resistive plus inductive load. What is going to happen? So if we look at our Vs, okay, it is going to remain the same. V source, sinusoid, okay. Now since we have an inductor, what does a inductor do? It stores energy. So once you pass a current through an inductor, magnetic field is generated, okay, and in this magnetic field energy is stored, okay. So what do you think will happen to our current? Okay, since there is, what we expect is this, right? In resistive load we had our current something like this. The peak of the source was the peak of the current, but it's not going to be the same for a RL load. For a RL load, something different is going to happen, okay. your current will take a path something like this. Suppose this is the peak point and then it is going to decrease. And this is because of our inductor. Let me write the equation so that it's more clear. Okay. So we said our VAC, okay, is equals to our V load. Now what is going to be our V load? V load is going to be Ri, okay, plus L di by dt, okay, the current times resistance and the current times inductance. Now this L di by dt, if you want to find VAC, you will just minus VAC minus Ri is going to be your L di by dt, okay. So if you want to plot your IR, okay, this voltage, it is a scalar multiplication, current times resistance. So current times resistance, you will just get, this is your current, if this is your current times resistance, you will get something like this, okay. And then your current is going to peak at the point where you have the peak of your voltage. So this is IR. This is your I. Now what do you think is going to be the voltage for the inductance? Very simply, just by looking at the equation, voltage for the inductance L di by dt is going to be VAC minus Ri. So if this is VAC minus Ri or IR is going to be this part. Yes? Can? Till here. Everything till here. Okay. Make note to try this in your lab, okay, the next lab. See if you get the same result, okay. Half wave rectifier with a RL load. Okay. So it's not always the case that if we have a diode, we will only have voltage and current conducting on the phase cycle for a half wave rectifier. Okay. If you have L, what does L do? L stores energy. So because of the stored energy, you will also have some voltage and current in the negative half cycle. So this is what a inductor, this is the effect of a inductor in a circuit. Not only a half wave rectifier. Suppose if we had a full wave rectifier, we will also have some effect because of the inductance, okay, because it actually stores some energy, okay. So that is the important highlight for inductance. If you have an inductive load, it's really hard to determine the output, okay, because of this stored energy. It all depends on the size of the inductor. What else can we talk about? Okay, so we understand that, okay, formula V inductance is the integral of VL, okay, is equals to the shaded area. end V average of load is equals to 0 to beta. Okay. Now, when I said in an inductive load it is very difficult to understand the output because this beta keeps on changing. And where is beta? This is the point where beta is. Okay. Because if we have a large inductor, this beta will increase. Okay. We will have a beta towards the right. If we have a small inductor, the beta will move towards the left. So because of this beta, it's a bit, there is a bit complication of the output. So that's why we are going to integrate from 0 to beta Vm sin omega t, Vm sin omega t, say d omega t. Okay, is it clear? So whenever you are looking at this circuit, the first thing that you need to write is this formula, because once you write this formula, you will understand the whole effect of this circuit. That VIC is equals to Ri, okay, the current passing through the resistor, plus the current passing through the inductor. Okay. Any questions? Something not clear? Let's look at what we have in the notes. Okay. Similar example. Also take note, the peak of the current is at the exact point where V equals to IR cuts the Vs graph. Okay, the source graph. You see this? The peak is exactly at the point where the V source intercepts the IR graph. Okay. You know that resistance is like when you have resistive load, it takes energy, right? It takes energy and dissipates it like as a form of heat. So energy is destroyed. So what happens? You must be thinking that if inductance is storing energy, how is it compensated in this area? What happens here? Okay. So if you look at this graph really closely, okay, all the energy required by the resistance is supplied by the source here. Yes, everything, all the energy required is supplied by the source here till this part. The energy required by the inductor is this. Okay, we have looked at it, the shaded part. Let me show it here. Okay, till this point everything is supplied by the source. This is the requirement of the inductor. Okay, for example, if you are coming to the university, you require some money, right? For good purpose, inductive. Okay, for example, this, you're going to buy your book, all this is supplied by your scholarship, right? Now we also have, okay, for your books and everything you require inductive, right? For example, supplied by your scholarship. You also require to eat, right? IR. This energy is supplied, okay, the ones which are secular, is again supplied by your scholarship. Okay, the IR, whatever energy is required by the IR is supplied by your scholarship. Okay, for example, if you need to eat, still supplied by your scholarship. Now your money finishes, you have bought your books, okay, but you still have a friend. Who is your friend? The inductor, right? Your friend still has money. So all the energy required by after your money has finished, all the money required by the resistive load is supplied by the inductor. So all this energy here is consumed by a resistor. All the energy stored in the inductor, all the money your friend has is consumed by the resistor, which is you. Okay? It's clear now? Where the energy goes from the inductor? Okay, good. And also remember this formula. All the formulas we learn it by heart. No formulas will be given in the exam. Now let's move on. So, okay, this is the area, the load, and this is voltage across the diode, V diode, when you are measuring here. Okay, it says current continues to flow for a while even if the input voltage has gone negative because of the inductor. Now another circuit. The same half wave rectifier we have looked at with a resistive load, inductive plus resistive load. Now we have something that we kind of use in our real life. It's like a battery charger. Okay, DC battery charger. You have rechargeable batteries for your cameras, right? Even your phones, something similar. Not exactly, but something similar. We have a diode, we have a inductor, and we have a source, for example a battery. Now what happens in this case? Again very similar operation. Okay, we have V source. Okay, we have V source here, and this is our DC voltage of the battery, VD. Okay, ED we have said to be ED. So what happens is that this diode does not need to conduct until it reaches which point? This point here. Okay, because from here to here there is enough energy from the battery. Okay, battery has enough voltage, it does not require, so it's not going to conduct. The diode is not going to conduct. The diode is only going to conduct once Vs is greater than Ed. Then the diode starts conducting. This is when you see this current starts rising. Okay, this is when the current starts rising, and the current rises till which point? Until Vs is greater than Ed. Once Vs is less than Ed, the current starts decreasing because there is no need for current, and then the cycle continues. Okay, remember, for a load, current will only be supplied if the load requires the current, otherwise current will not be supplied even though you have connected a load. Okay, even if you connect a load, current will not be supplied unless and until the load requires current. Okay, you must have learned this in power system analysis last semester. Okay, current is only given when it is required. That's why we say that the current depends on the load. So here our load is a battery. Battery is maybe fully charged, maybe 70% charged. Okay, 70% charged. You must have seen when your battery reaches 100%, your mobile phone, does it charge anymore? If it's continuously charged, battery would have been destroyed. Normally what do? At night we plug in the charger and we let it charge whole night. But it does not charge because it reaches a maximum and that it does not require any more current. Okay, but we also have a separate circuit to control charging, but this is just to see the picture. So that's why we have a current increase once Vs is greater than Ed. Okay, once Vs is greater than Ed, okay, we know this is the set point, but we require it to charge, so the current starts to increase. Now we also have the current at the inductor. Okay, So what is going to be the current at the inductor? Does not stay on. Voltage at the inductor, sorry, is going to be this part here, this portion. That's what has been brought down here. Okay, this portion. This is the voltage at the inductor, this part. That's what is shown here. And the other part, till current is not needed anymore. Okay, so this part here it has been brought down here. We are going to have a fire now. Testing, right? Good. And then again we have the voltage across the diode. Okay, voltage across the diode is very simple. You're just going to put a voltmeter across this diode. You're going to see this kind of voltage across the diode. Okay, it will just show the voltage that is with respect to the source. So everyone has a clear understanding now of this. Okay, let me give you some formulas. Okay, oh no, the only formula you are going to, okay, you can write it down. VAC is equals to, what do you think VAC is equals to? By looking at the circuit, VAC is equals to L di by dt plus ED. Okay, that's all. Note to try this in your lab. Okay. So we have question number 1 and question number 2 for lab. Lab next week, right? So some points here, current begins to flow when the input voltage exceeds the DC back EMF. Current continues to flow for a while even after the input voltage has gone below the DC back EMF. Okay, that's what it shows here. Okay. Now let's move to something which we have already done. Okay, single phase diode rectifier. Okay, single phase, actually it's called single phase bridge rectifier. We are going to look at this circuit first. Now can someone tell me, before we move to the circuit and discussion, all the labs have finished? 3 to 5, anyone is still has a lab today or tomorrow? No way? So everyone is finished with the lab. So we've already done this in the lab. What is the output? Yes? It's kind of a ripple. It's a ripple, right? But we require DC because it's a rectifier from IC to DC. So to remove that ripple, we use this capacitor. Okay, it's kind of a filter. To remove this ripple, to get a constant DC, we use a capacitor. Now before we get, okay, yeah, it says large capacitor at the DC output for filtering the energy storage. Okay, to make it constant, the output constant. Now you have done this so many times. Okay, before this. Okay, power electronics and drives. Draw the circuit. Okay, I, and identify the path for the first cycle and the positive cycle. Okay, positive cycle and the negative cycle. Please draw the circuit I and identify the positive cycle and the negative cycle. just throw I, I. Okay. Try to recall the path that current takes during the positive cycle and the negative cycle. How do we get a ripple? How do we get a ripple? Because we have the source flowing from positive to negative. Okay, positive and negative, positive and negative. How does it? What happens that the negative cycle goes on top to the positive cycle? Okay. Before that, okay, just something to note that these bridge rectifiers form the basis of power electronics, right? Tell me one place where you will find this circuit. Power? Power equipments? Power adapters, yes. Power adapters, okay. That's in general. What all do you use power adapters for? Mostly everything, all the devices at your home, okay. As far as I think, the only devices at our home that require 240 volts AC is light, okay, fan, maybe the rice cooker and the heater. Everything else require the voltage to be converted from AC to DC. So if we didn't have this bridge rectifier, we could not have charged our phone. Actually, phone would not have been invented because we won't be able to charge our phone. Phone, okay, this LCD screen cannot be used just by 240 volts IC. Okay, it requires DC voltage. Your tablet, your screen, TV, television sets, your radios, everything requires rectifiers. So we need to understand completely, you as engineers need to understand completely what a rectifier is, how it works, okay, because rectifiers are very important, very important. So let me also draw this, okay. Now the reason for doing the rectifier, full bridge rectifier in your lab session was because for you to have a clear understanding, okay, the structure of this before we go into the depth, okay, of understanding how it works. In labs it's easy, eh? Take the diode, 4 diodes, connect source, add the wires, simple, you have your bridge rectifier. Who will understand how it works? Okay, let's see on paper exactly how it works. So first thing that we require is a IC source. Okay, we have 240, 50 hertz. Okay, then normally I have told you before, okay, which is not shown in the diagram that we have just seen. Let me see if it's shown. Okay, it's not shown. Protection. Remember protection? What do we need? Series inductor. Yes, series inductor. Okay, never forget this, eh? Okay, series inductor is protection for di over dt, okay, current. Now we'll have 4 diodes, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not a new circuit, eh? This circuit previously you have seen it in a diamond form. Yeah, good. Now this is going to be connected here. Positive cycle comes in, connects here. Okay. Then we have a wire from here to here. and then we have a load. We are going to look at a, okay, we can say any type of load. Comes down here, connects here, and then connects here. Where does the negative terminal connect? Okay, always in between. So it's going to come. Okay, let's bring it back here. Connects here. This circuit, okay, when you close your eyes, you should remember this circuit. Okay, not your friend's face. Should remember this circuit. Never forget this circuit. Now, diode numbering, I can do it in whichever way I want. Okay, there I can write diode 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just to reduce the confusion, I am going to write it in a way which you will understand soon why. So I am going to say this is D1, I am going to say this is D2 and D3, D4. So we have connected our circuit, everything is connected. Now let's start supplying electricity. Let's start the current to flow. So what happens? Current starts its journey. Okay, so this is positive, this is negative. Current will start its journey. Let's take blue pen. If current is okay, the inductor lets it go. Okay, let's go current. Current is now flowing. If current comes this way, it will be blocked. So we are going to take the path, easiest path. Okay, remember current is very efficient. Okay, higher efficiency than us, because we take paths which we should not take, but current will always take the path easiest to it. Okay, so current will come up here. Okay, I think it would be better if we, okay, we first take our current. So this is IS. Current is now flowing. Will current come down here? No. It's going to flow through the load now. Okay. Come down to D2. Okay. That's why I have numbered it D1 and D2. So current will come up here. Then we have a negative here. It will immediately go to the negative potential of the supply. So it will come out here. Current has finished its first leg, the positive cycle. Okay, so this was the positive cycle. Now if we were to draw this, let's draw this. Positive cycle. Okay, we have finished this part here. Positive cycle. Now when it comes to the negative cycle, okay, negative cycle is, we have voltage, okay, it's not zero, we have voltage but it is in the negative side, okay, negative side. So what happens during the negative cycle, please note this down, during negative cycle, source current reverses its direction. Okay, during negative cycle, source current reverses its direction. So what happens here? The polarity changes. We have negative, but it's still voltage, right? So changing the polarity changes so reverses the direction. So now let's take the negative cycle. Okay, I'll change my color to red. Okay, negative cycle. So my current starts its journey again, comes up here, reaches this point, goes up to D3. D3, it won't come to this direction, it is going to go direction towards the load. Comes here, comes down here, okay, comes to D4, okay, comes to D4, comes up here and goes out to negative. Okay, this is the negative cycle. So this is why we are going to have our negative cycle, okay, since the reverse direction, okay, since the negative cycle source current reverses its direction, we are going to have the ripple towards the positive side. Okay. So if I was to note this down, okay, so suppose this is say A and B, okay, A and B, and this is P and N. So the positive cycle, starting from A, D1, P, N, D2, B. And then negative cycle, B, B to D3, P, N, D4, B. Yes, Krish, what happened? Look confused. Ask now, before it's too late. You must be thinking now, why didn't he take this path, right? See, I can read your mind. Why didn't he take this path? Because its polarity is positive here. It won't take this path. Okay? It will try to reach its friend negative, because it started from positive and it's going to end at negative. Okay? Good. Now because of this point here, okay, this point here, very important point, okay, this is the point that validates this positive cycle, okay, that during negative cycle source current reverses its direction. This is why we have a, because even though we had a negative cycle, we have a positive cycle now, because the direction change of the current. Now because of this direction change, still Is is negative, okay, but it is conducting on the negative cycle. We are going to have our current, okay, so this is V load, okay, and we can say this was Vs, this is V source, and our I source is going to look something like this. Okay, let me just draw it on the same graph. So this is my I source. I S. Very simple, that a very simple question that can be asked, okay, in the, are we going to have quizzes? No, in the course outline we don't have quiz, no? Okay, we can have one surprise quiz. is to draw a single phase bridge rectifier. Plot voltage, okay, is very easy. Current, voltage source, voltage load, and also write the direction of, or show the direction on the circuit, or write the direction of positive cycle and write the path that the current takes in the negative cycle. Think it's going to be a good question? Yes, but it's very simple. It's too simple. Okay. One more thing to note down is the V average. DC is going to be 1 divided by pi from 0 to pi. Okay. Why from 0 to pi? Because it's same, right? 0 to pi is going to be the same from pi to 2 pi. So Vm, oh my god, Vm sin omega t, which is same as 2 Vm divided by, can't see here, same as 2 Vm divided by pi. We have 3 minutes. Let's see what the lecture note says. Okay, you know about the capacitor, why we are going to put a capacitor. Okay. Now the output is like this. Okay. This red is output. Do you think this is the ideal output for DC? So if we put a capacitor here before the load, this will immediately become a constant DC. Okay, just by putting a capacitor. Okay, and then there is also a figure showing how the current flows. Okay, ID positive, ID negative. Two groups, each with two diodes. It will be very interesting how 3-phase rectifiers work. Okay? And this is the waveforms. Okay, the load that we have just seen now, we are going to consider that load as a resistive load. Okay, because the current peak is exactly the same as the source peak. And that's all. That's all for today.